Why is it so hard to let love unfold and stay? Humming the same song, never writing the words, and our wheels they keep on turning. Why don't we feel it embracing us? There was a time when magic opened up our eyes. Why don't we feel it embracing us? There was a time when magic opened up our eyes. Stay beauty, stay feeling. One brotherhood, one ship. Stay beauty, stay feeling. It's BV, it's BV, BV, it's BV, it's BV, it's BV, it's BV.
From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. Hey yo, heart of a villain beats hard in the centrifuge. Bearded BP, 100 interviews. All it takes is 2 mics and 1 line. This is Bearded Villains podcast worldwide. Driving cross countries, getting ball tires. Fam across ponds, always inspired. Chapters connect, and then it's on fire. Check your phone, cause BV is like a live wire. They said that we couldn't do it, yeah, that's the power of brotherhood. Every bro, every chapter, every caption. Heart of a villain, bro. Lights, camera, action, 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 action. Let's go.
Hello,
From the start to the
everybody.
finish, go hard and we win in this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Thursday night edition of The Heart of a Villain, the podcast and live stream devoted to the bearded villains worldwide brotherhood. Boys, the heart of a villain.
From the start to the
Yeah.
finish, go hard and we win. It's the heart of a villain.
Man,
It's the heart of a villain.
we
From the
are-
start to the finish, go
we are
hard and
already
win. It's the
halfway
heart.
through
It's the
October.
heart.
Can you believe it? Halfway through October. We've got in our family here, we've got our 2 birthday boy celebrations out of the way for the month of October here at the house. We have 2 October birthdays, 8 days apart. Of course, we have my youngest son on October 8th, and then the 16th for my oldest son. It is October 17th, and this is episode 231 of The Heart of a Villain. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. It is, this has been a cram-packed full week, I'm telling you. I didn't even know, I wasn't even sure up until earlier today if I was going to be able to fit this episode in today because so much going on. As you know, here in Northern Indiana, we are prepping for our big event for the year, the return of Ezra Crow. That is this weekend in Portage, Indiana, and we have all sorts of stuff going on with it. I've been receiving packages that I've been waiting on for different things. I've also been receiving, thank you very much to those of you who have been participating, from sending items from our wish list so that we can help fulfill the needs of the snack cart and the other items that are necessary, that are needed by the Ronald McDonald houses in Northern Indiana. So thank you so much. If you're interested still, go ahead, just hit me up or hit up any of our Bearded Villain brothers from Northern Indiana, and I can get you that link if you want to. By all means, we would love to have you jump onto our Amazon wish list and buy a couple snack items for us to send. They'll get delivered right here to the house, and we'll be able to take them next week to the hospitals, or to the Ronald McDonald houses that are at the hospitals for their snack carts. So very cool thing. One of the things that, while I'm talking about that, I'll just mention one of the reasons that we do this part of the thing too for our event, that we collect these snack items, is because we time it out, of course, with Halloween. And during the Halloween season, one of the biggest things that kids love to do is what? Go out and trick or treat. And unfortunately, for families with kids that are sick in the hospital, that's not something they get to do. So this time-honored tradition not only affects the kids that are sick in the hospital, that are under doctor's care, but it also affects the families in general. So it can affect the brothers, the sisters, of the other sick kids, and we also don't want to forget them as well, because when you have a child in the hospital, it affects everybody. It affects the entire family unit, and so everybody has to kind of change what they're doing with their lives, and it makes a big impact on the family. So one of the great things about the Ronald McDonald House that we're working with, the two here in the Northern Indiana area, is that they provide a home for them while that's happening. And one of the other great things is that during the holiday season, during the Halloween season, it provides them an opportunity to have a resource to be able to do some minor trick-or-treating, as it were, under those circumstances. So if you are interested in participating and helping us out, please hit me up, and I will send you the link to our Ronald McDonald House Amazon wish list, so you can purchase an item or two if you want to. They're all moderately priced. Some items are larger than others that have multiple items within a bag or something like that. But we'd love to have you partner up with us and send us some goodies. So there's that. All right. Hey, here we are, episode 231. Thank you guys so much for being here. As I said, this has been a rough, super busy week for me between work and all the prep stuff that we've been trying to go back and forth with. There's some things, if you've hosted one of these events before, there's some things that your gears are just spinning right up until the week of, and you're thinking, oh, maybe we could, and then you just kind of have to settle on some things. But you're always spitballing things and looking out for changes and looking to make sure that you're not forgetting this thing and everything else. So, and then we have things that we were waiting on to be shipped that sometimes get delayed because of hurricanes and things like that. And I know there's far bigger problems for people that have been directly affected by the hurricanes than just us worrying about getting a shipment of something in, for sure. So, but anyway, so I greatly appreciate the support that everybody's given us this week. I know that we have some people already in town ready to go for this weekend, and we have more people coming into town here in Northern Indiana tomorrow for the meet and greet, and then again on Saturday for the event. So safe travels to everybody else that's coming to our event. We love it. We love seeing adults act like kids, and the ability for adults to dress up, and the costumes, the creativity that we have at this event is just so much fun. And just the camaraderie, the family atmosphere that we have there. Some people that bring their kids, and their kids dress up. It's just a great time. And then we added the tattoo contest last year, which makes it even better in a different and unique way. And then we have the worst tattoo contest, and some of those tattoos. I mean, to tell you what, we talked about this a little bit last week when we had Ed on talking about some of the things coming up for our event this weekend. But I mean, it's just one of the funniest things that I've seen at a BV event in years, really. And so we, of course, wanted to keep that tradition going as well. So looking forward to seeing everybody coming into town as we go. This week, here on episode 231, I'm going to be talking with the co-captain of the Bearded. Well, this club is worldwide, right? But we're talking with somebody that we haven't talked to in about a year. From the Phoenix Villains, the co-captain Kurl. We're going to be talking about a thing called All Villains Eve down in Phoenix. It's actually in Mesa, but it's hosted by Phoenix. So, and being that they're the only ones down there, yeah, they're taking it over. But you know what? I have to say, I had such what's funny is, when there's people that you don't talk to, but very, just periodically. And I remember when I first started talking to Kurl today, we remembered that we haven't talked really since I spoke with him about last year's All Villains Eve. And what's really funny about that is that you have there's sometimes there's people that you can just talk to and you feel like no time is lost, and you guys can just talk for forever about things. And we said the same thing this year. Today while we were talking is that we could go off on some tangent and just talk and talk and talk and talk. And it gave me the opportunity while we were talking to kind of focus an idea based off of something that came out of the conversation with him. And you'll hear this come up in my interview with him. But it's a really interesting idea that I want to delve into in a future podcast episode. And I want to have like kind of a town hall environment where we talk to 3 or 4 different people, 3 or 4 different brothers from varying time frames and aspects within BV, because it's a very interesting thought to think about where we, not only as a club, not only as a chapter, but as men, where we will be in our lives in, say, 5 or 10 years, and how our relationship changes over the time with BV and with our chapter and with our brothers. Because like so many other social clubs out there, I delve into this a little bit in my conversation with Kurl a little bit, but like so many of these, clubs that are out there, you have the Eagles, you have all of the veterans organizations that are out there, you have the Masonic lodges, you have all sorts of different things that are out there for men to take part in, the Eagles and the Moose and all of these things. That it's interesting because they've been around for so long, and here we are, a part of this brotherhood that's only been around for 10 years. And just like all of those other organizations that as they go through and they've been around for a few decades and multiple decades, and in some cases, you see the membership change over the years. And the older people get, do they disappear? Do they stay on as a very, very old member? How do the younger guys come up, and how does that change the scope of things and the look of things? And it's just a very interesting conversation piece, I think, to think about. Here we are, because most of what BV is, and no matter which chapter you're a part of, has always been the core of just about every chapter has been the core, and those guys have been there all this time, and they've just gotten older with the club. But what's that going to look like when the club is twice as old as it is right now? What's it going to look like when the members of that chapter or of that club are in their 70s and 80s, the guys that started it, if they were in their 40s or 50s when they started? What's that look like? It's an interesting thought. It really is. We're going to be going through some stuff in the years to come, and things are going to change quite a bit. And it's one of those fun conversation pieces I love to spitball on. So I look forward to thinking about that in a future episode. I don't know when that one's going to happen, but it came from. I'm very excited about it now, because it just kind of spurred off of this conversation I had today with Kurl, as we were talking about things that are going on with Phoenix and what's going to happen. What's really interesting is, again, when I'm talking to him earlier, I just said, we'll talk for a little bit about what's going on with the chapter. We ended up talking about 3/4 of our conversation was about other stuff and the chapter, and then just a little bit about their event. And it's funny how that happens, man. You just get in a flow of just talking about stuff and don't realize where you're going with it, but that's what makes things so natural. And that's one of the things I love about this brotherhood so much, is that we have things in common and we can just talk about things. And so anyway, in just a few minutes, I'll play the interview that I had with Kurl, talking about everything that is BV and Phoenix and what they've been going through and what's coming up for them this weekend as well, for All Villains Eve. So I had a lot of fun with that. I want to give a shout out to those gentlemen who are here with me live tonight. If there's any ladies out there, I don't know if there's any ladies out there watching tonight. But I want to give a shout out to those that are here with us live. So let's do that now. Let's see who we had. First off, we had our Rubba on the road. Rubba saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Good morning to you, good sir. It's a sad, sad situation that you're one of those that is not able to attend our event this weekend. I know it's a super pricey trip coming back across the pond, but man, we're going to be missing you. You and our next person up here, Mr. Dap Dan. I was hoping to see both of you here this weekend, but I know things are things, right? And you can't wish upon a star to make everything work. I totally get it. So good to see you here, Dap. Josh, how you doing? Good to see you here. He says, good evening, brothers. What is Buddy's hanging out with us as well. Good to see Buddy this weekend. I look forward to that. Good to see you. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for hanging out here on the night before you get so much more of me this weekend. So I'm surprised you want to hang out and listen to my voice after hearing so much of me coming up this weekend. He says, yep, I am packed and ready for this weekend for sure. Let's see. Mr. Ed Daring is hanging out with us as well. Yes, sir. Going to be spending a lot of time prepping and doing all sorts of good stuff with Mr. Ed Daring this weekend from Northern Indiana. For sure, for sure. Jason's hanging out with us as well. He says he heard us talking about Ronald McDonald House. Ronald McDonald House is such a good organization. Yes, it is. And even more so once you realize fully, a lot of people just know that they are a good organization. They just kind of know a little bit about what they do, but until you've seen it firsthand and you've witnessed it, that completely changes your scope and your thought on it. It's a different thing altogether for sure. Mr. Elevated Gray, whew, how you doing, sir? Good to see you here, hanging out with us as well. I love all the guys taking out some time tonight to see us, Jason. Yes, evening, gentlemen. What else you gonna do on a Thursday night when the football game ain't that great? Right? I felt pretty confident that I'd be okay missing the football game tonight because I didn't two rookie quarterbacks and two teams not playing great right now on Thursday night football. I'll get back to it later. I'll get back to it later. Of course, the Colts aren't playing that great either right now, so we're only 3-3. We're hoping for something to pop off here in the next several weeks. We can get maybe a streak going. We'll see. But thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you. I have a couple of merch things that I want to get into. I'll just blow right through them. There's a few that have been here for a little bit and some others that are new that I want to mention. So let's slide right into our merch for our week. And let's see what we got here. First up, of course, I have to share because you know what? It's my microphone and my button, and I'm in control. So I'm going to share my chapter stuff. Once again, it's still on sale. The Return of Ezra, or not, for coming into Return of Ezra Crow weekend. This is the Ezra Crow World Tour T-shirt. I always start talking about these two things at this time of the year together, and always get all tongue-tied when I start talking Ezra Crow. So it's the Ezra Crow World Tour T-shirt. Paying homage once again to a awesome album artwork from the past history of all things that are good in the rock and roll and metal world. So get out there to bvnorthernindiana.org and grab one of these guys, the Ezra Crow World Tour T-shirt. They're two different styles of T-shirt, plus a sleeveless T-shirt, plus a hoodie. So you have all sorts of options there. You can get multiples and you can wear them at different times of the year if you want to. It's just a badass design, so why not? Why not get one, right? I have to continue to give a shout out to this Bearded Villain South Mississippi chapter because I love these patches. Can't say enough about these patches. I think they still have them. These things look like they're carved out of wood. I keep saying it every week. So very cool. It looks like they're carved out of wood and then painted. They do not look like patches, and that's what I love about them. So it's a patch set going towards some Christmas charities that they're going to be doing. If you are looking for something different, some unique type of patch that you want to help be a part of, go out there and grab the Bearded Villain South Mississippi Christmas patches. Very, very cool. I don't know if this is still on here, but it's for veterans, so they had a handful of them last week, so I just wanted to briefly mention this and see if the remembrance pin's still out there. Only 9 pounds. If it is, go out there and grab one of those as well. All right. My 2 new ones that I've got for this week is the WNC Strong Pin. The WNC Strong Pin. These are available at carolinavillains.org, carolinavillains.org for only $3. All of the proceeds are going to help the flood victims from the hurricanes that struck down there in the Carolina region. So very important, very important. For only $3, what do you know? Hey, spend $5 and give them a $2 donation too. You get a pin, you can put it on a hat, you can put it on a shirt, you can put it away and just donate it later. $3, if everybody just can chip in a little bit of money, we can make some differences in the Carolinas for the flood victims. carolinavillains.org is where you can grab that boy. And then finally, I have to share this because I thought it was pretty cool. Louisiana Villains have a Halloween patch that's on pre-order. Halloween patch on pre-order. So here's how this works. You get to buy a 5-inch tall patch, and it is their voodoo patch, right? Okay, so if you're looking at the picture right now, there's a purple one that's 5 inches tall on the screen. You get to buy one of these for $11.25. Kind of an odd price, I'll give you that. I haven't heard of a $11.25 price, but we'll take it. That's what they got it for. So $11.25. All right. Now, every patch purchased, you will be entered. For every patch you purchase, you will be entered for one drawing on October 31st to be held for the one and only gold voodoo doll patch. There is a gold voodoo doll patch, only one made, and everyone that purchases one of the purple ones is up for the drawing for the gold one. Pretty cool. Not many times do we get to buy something and then still have a potential bonus for something else later. So, very cool. Nobody else is putting out voodoo doll patches. Excuse me, that's for sure. Very cool. And it's 5 inches tall, and it's unique. It's cool. Go out there and get one of these bad boys. It's a pre-order, so they're not going to run out. But the pre-order, I'm assuming, isn't going to last too long because they have to do the drawing on the 31st. So get out there, help support Louisiana Villains with their Halloween patch pre-order. And that's what I got for that. All right. That is our merch that I have so far. Now, I want to get right in because I don't want to waste any more time than we have to, right? I want to get right into my interview that I had today with Kurl. And as I'm speaking, I just realized I did not set it up on the button that I normally have for the buttons for the videos. So while I'm talking to you right now and just kind of la-di-da-di-da-di talking through things, I'm going to try to maneuver my buttons and my stuff to make sure that I can get this over here and then include that video of the interview so that it can be flipped over. Okay, I think I've done it. Hey, look how sneaky I've gotten over the years. All right. So, hey, the Phoenix Villains have All Villains Eve this weekend coming up in Mesa, Arizona. Such a very, very cool event. This is one of my favorites I get to hear about every year that's going on because it's so unique what they're doing. Very, very fun. Just when you hear about it, if you've never heard of this event before, you're going to wish you could have made it. Unless you're coming to our event, then don't wish that you were going to that event. And we're far enough apart from Mesa, Arizona that that's not a big deal. But if you're going to flip a coin, I'm going to always tell you come to Northern Indiana. So do that. But if you're down in the Southwest, go to Mesa, Arizona this weekend and take part in All Villains Eve. But here's my interview I had earlier today with Kurl talking about All Villains Eve and all things that are going on in the world down in Phoenix. Okay, it's that time of year again, boys and girls. The Phoenix Villains are coming back with a favorite event of mine I've never been to before, but I'm telling you what, it is a bucket list. It just unfortunately, it coincides with the same weekend as our event, and unfortunately, I don't think either one of us want to budge because we love our event weekends. But it's so cool to see the pictures and hear the stories of it every single year. So back with me again to tell me about All Villains Eve and all they have to plan for, everything that they've got going on, and even what Phoenix has been up to over the last year or so is Kurl, co-captain. Hey, how you doing?
Very, very well. How about yourself?
Oh man, I'm doing great. I hate the fact that, I mean, granted, I know there's a distance here between Indiana and Phoenix, so I get that.
Right.
But still, I would try and make like a weekend out of it if it just didn't coincide every year with our event. I'd try and find a way.
It's tough. We do have a good event. It'd be the same way coming out that way if we can make the time.
Yeah.
But again, you can't control the calendars. So what can you do besides just support each other?
Right. Yeah, and unfortunately, there's only so many weekends that are open in a year, and
Yeah.
I think you guys kind of feel like we do, that once you kind of find your little niche and you find your little home in that calendar year, you kind of sit there and you're like, okay, we have this now. We're not competing with anybody else. Everybody else can compete with us for this weekend, but this time frame, and it just works out really well. So thankfully, we're far enough apart that we're not. I don't really think we're pulling the same people.
No,
right.
We're not worried about stealing audiences or anything like that. That's for sure. And our event is tied specifically to the kind of a Halloween theme as far as the All Villains Eve. And so have always tried to get it as close to Halloween as possible. And we tend to think this third Saturday of the month is really effective as far as lining that up. It's not right on Halloween, so it's not like impacting other parties or things you might want to go to.
Yep.
So it's a little bit right before that. You get a chance maybe to try out your costume or something like that if you want to wear your costume. But yeah, the All Villains Eve, the theme is kind of geared towards Halloween. So that's the other reason we don't really feel like moving this or doing it on a different weekend, right?
Yeah, and why would you? Why would you? It's perfectly timed. And like you said, we have the same mindset. It's like we don't want to compete with everybody's Halloween parties. And it does give a chance to let the parents, the adults go out, because Halloween weekend, it's for the kids. And if you have kids, you want to be there, you want to do the thing with the kids. But this affords that opportunity for, I know in our case, for the adults to dress up. And I think you guys enjoy similar things. So it's we're going to talk about that in just a second. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but tell me a little bit about what the last year's been like down there in Phoenix.
It's been I think it's been a year of refocus. We grew quite a bit. Just to be really transparent about what happens in chapters and the ups and downs. I think that the ebbs and flows that chapters may go through. But we had people move. We had people. Life happens and decisions were made that I can't stay part of the chapter. Which is all fine and dandy. And so we figured out, well, how we need to refocus. How do we take that core group of guys that are still active, that still want to play a part in the community, that still want to build the brotherhood? How do we refocus on them and then decide to move forward? And so part of what we've done is limit how much charity we do. So we focused heavily on 2 different events this year, which was a drive for the animals, a pit bull shelter that we like to support, and then obviously the All Villains Eve. And so what that allowed us to do was try to concentrate more on the brotherhood and get people to the monthly meets and have a good time during the monthly meets. And instead of always having to talk about a particular charity or a particular thing we're trying to do, let's just get back to building relationships through those monthly meets, offering as often as we can, because in the summertime in Phoenix, it's a little difficult unless you just want to go to the pool. But those off monthly meeting things. So I think that's something over the past year where leadership just said, hey, we got up to like 50 plus guys, and we would have some activity, some not activity. It's a volunteer thing. So if you're going to volunteer to do this, then volunteer to be active. And if you're not going to be active, then let's find a different role for you. And so one thing we did was in the past, we had focused a lot on, are you active? Are you active? Are you in the chats? Are you showing up are you active? And so we decided to reframe what we did, kind of based off, I think, a little bit of what I saw with New Mexico and what they do. And so we decided to split our chats we had a hopeful chat and we had a Phoenix chat. And you were a hopeful, and then you got moved to the Phoenix one. And then if you were not active, if you weren't participating in the chat, if you weren't coming to events, charity, monthly meets, we would potentially then remove you from the chat, essentially removing you from the chapter. And so we finally figured out that that's not the right way to go about things. And I learned, I think it's similar to what New Mexico does. We decided we'll still have that hopeful chat where we bring in hopefuls. We can teach them, we can educate them, we have people in there that are talking, building those relationships. But at the same time, we'll also have a business room where the active members who want a part, who want a voice, and to have a voice, you have to be active. Those individuals can be in the business room. And if you just want to be a part of the brotherhood, you don't have to show up to meets if you don't want to. You don't have to show up to charity events. But if you just want to continue to be a part of the brotherhood on the fringe of the chapter, that's what our social room is now for. And so that is one, it's helped us maintain this core group of guys that really want to be active. And so we have something for them. In that business room, we have votes, right? We have polls. The information goes out for the meetings. You have to RSVP for the meetings still in that room to show that you're active. But then in the social room, you just find out that we're having a meet, and if you want to come, you can come. And if you want to get right, and then if you can, right, if you're in the social room and then you decide, well, I want to be active again in the chapter, then you have to show us. And then if you show us that you're committed to that activity, we'll then give you that voice back and put you back into the business room. And so again, what that's done, I think, has helped us to focus more on the brotherhood. I think we were trying to do 4 or 5 different charity events every year, and that's all it was all of a sudden was just charity, charity, charity. And I think that might have been like, hey, I just want to hang out. And so I think what we've done is now we're hitting both of those audiences. We're hitting the audience that just wants to hang out and have that choice. I can come, I don't have to come. I can choose when I want to be social. And then we have the group that's active, where we require you to RSVP, we require you to come to meets, to vote, to be a part of the business room, that sort of thing. So I think that's been the focus. That's where we've moved over the past years. And we're still our core group of 15 to 20 or so guys. And then we have about 50, I think 40 or so, maybe 50, I don't think it's 50, but like 40 or so maybe in our social room. And then we have some hopefuls that come in every once in a while.
Man, I knew you guys had grown. I guess I didn't realize that you were still hovering around 50 or so. That's great. But I love, coming from somebody also in a captain's role, I love that refocus idea, and that you have recognized. And I feel like not only from my position in our chapter, but also through this podcast and talking to guys from all the different chapters around the world, you hear how things run a little bit differently here, a little differently there. And I think sometimes we either get too focused, like you kind of said, we either get too focused on the charity and forget the brotherhood, or we get too focused on the brotherhood and forget that there's the charity aspect that we could do as well. And I think that alienates some of those guys that really need that brotherhood. And they for some guys, as we found out, I think all of us have found out, if you've been around it any amount of time, you recognize the fact that the guys that need the brotherhood don't always need it at the same time you need it.
Yeah.
They need it when they need it, and to alienate them and push them further out away from it, take that opportunity away from them by removing them. I think that was a really smart idea, and I'm sure some of your guys have really benefited from knowing that, hey, it's there, and I may not need it today, and I may not be as active as somebody else is, but but to have that resource available to you guys, man, that was really smart thinking. So for you guys, congrats on that idea. And if you've taken that from somebody else, then great on them for kind of finding that way.
Again, shout out to New Mexico. Again, I'm not sure it's exactly the way we run it, but I'm in one of their rooms. I'm in their like social chat. And again, I got the idea from some of the things I heard and observed that were happening in that chat. And like some of the, hey, well, you're not in that particular room. So if it's like, oh, so they have separate, and hopefuls are together. So anyway, shout out. That's where I thought about that. And then the idea to refocus wasn't mine. I think that was just a leadership decision in general. But again, input, right? You get input from everybody
Right.
when you have a leadership panel that's running the chapter. Because we have Oak and then myself, but then we've got 5 other guys on the board,
Mhm.
and Oak votes last. So
Yeah.
Oak breaks ties.
That's
He leaves it up to the leadership team to make those decisions and empowers that team to do that. So
I love it when I hear that stuff, because I'm the same way. I don't want to influence. I
yeah,
don't want to be the
that's it.
I don't want to. So when we do a vote, I cast mine last, because I don't want it to be one of those, well, he's voting this way, and no, I don't want to influence any of that. I put the poll up, and then I walk away for a bit. I think that's such a great way to do it. And I think one other thing I want to just point out from what you said there, about this idea of the way that you've kind of reconfigured things, that I really love, is so often, I think, in an effort by chapters to want to do more, they don't realize that more becomes less, because they're trying to do, you can't take 15, 20 guys and do 18 different charity events over the course of a year and do it well. You end up with 2 or 3 guys doing everything, hating the other guys because they're not participating, and you end up straining that brotherhood that you do have, because guys. So I like the idea that you guys have stepped back and said, look, we want to focus on a couple of things, and we'll do them well. We'll knock them out of the park, and there's no reason to strain ourselves, and even to do something once a month. If you don't have the manpower for it, why commit to try and do it? Because not only you're going to not do it well, but you're going to resent each other because nobody's pulling their weight. And ultimately that affects that brotherhood too. So
and you're just going to burn out. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So this has been a really good year, really, I think, for the future of your chapter, moving forward, and kind of, like you said, the refocusing effort. I think that's a really cool idea.
We're trying. We're still working on the bonds and the brotherhood, and as everybody ages and grows, the ability to do things outside of the monthly meets becomes impacted. And so I think that's kind of where we're headed now, is how do we build the bond outside of the monthly meet? How do we get that back? How do we get guys hanging out, doing things together, maybe, another Saturday or another weekday or something like that? Because that used to happen, but then you grow and you get more responsibilities, and you can't necessarily just go out or do things. And so that once a month thing becomes really important.
Right.
And so again, we got that back, our core group of people coming to that, the 15 to 20 guys. But then I think the next step to continue to build that brotherhood that we've recognized is, how do we do stuff outside of that now? How do you get the guys together on a Wednesday night to go bowling or something like that, or at somebody's house to play cards, or just the backyard fun or something, whatever it is.
Forgive my ignorance on the size of the square mileage, I guess, about how big of an area your chapter covers. What is the distance between the furthest members that you guys have that you have to travel to get to?
Yeah, so technically our chapter covers the state of Arizona. So we are called the Phoenix Villains because the core of us live in Phoenix. What we have found is that individuals who don't live in what we consider the Phoenix, like the Valley, Phoenix, and then the surrounding suburbs, if you're not in that, from Buckeye on the west to Gilbert, Mesa, Chandler on the east, that's like Queen Creek kind of a thing, to the north, if you're not in it can be difficult, because if you're in Tucson, it's a 2-hour drive up. If you're up north in Flagstaff or Prescott, it's an 1.5 to 2-hour drive down. So once you leave Phoenix, you're driving to get to those. So what we also do is another thing we started doing very purposely is we now do our best to rotate meets between the west, the central, and the east sides of town, so that not everybody's having to drive an hour. The same people aren't having to make that commute. So back to our brothers are all we have brothers who live an hour apart or so, because one's on the east side, one's on the west side. You've got guys in central Phoenix who live 20 minutes from everybody. Sure. But then we have 5, 6 or so guys down in Tucson in the south of Arizona, who were part of our chapter, and they've kind of formed their own. They're not an officially recognized chapter, but
Okay.
they're kind of working towards that kind of a
Yeah.
thing. They even have like a name. And so what we found was it is difficult to get the guys from what we would call the outside of the like greater Arizona, south and northern Arizona. It's harder to get them into the monthly meets. If they want to be active, it's harder to be. We had a sergeant who lived in Tucson for a year. He'd drive 2-3 hours up every month, just to come up. He'd come to events. I mean, he was really committed, but it just takes a toll.
Yeah.
And so, therefore, I think they're trying to form a chapter. We're really supportive of it. Again, Oak is a guide to the guys down there and what they need to do to get that done. I don't know how close they are, how far they are, but they do meet. So we have brothers, right, who have said we enjoyed what we had in Phoenix, but man, it's just tough to get up there. And they have formed their own little brotherhood in Tucson.
That's
And
great.
they get together, they do things. It's like 5 or 6 guys. I think they're looking for more. So to answer your question, we can be pretty spread out.
Yeah.
And you are not in the central Phoenix suburbs. I think it's called the metropolitan, whatever it's called, the valley. If you're not in the valley, you've really got to be committed to getting to Phoenix,
Right.
every month for what we're doing. So it's actually kind of exciting to see some of our former members, and some of those guys are still in our social chat, by the way.
Oh, good.
But they also have their own Southern Arizona chat that they do, and so it's really cool to see those guys still, and then the brotherhood and hanging out and building relationships. I don't know if that answers your question, but
No, it
Phoenix,
does.
yeah,
It's hard for somebody in the Midwest to try and really correlate size, because I know Phoenix is a large city, but I know once you get past a certain point, it's like you're just kind of on the fringe and the outskirts. And knowing that there's the one chapter there, I just figured, I knew the state, but I mean, I was curious how widespread the guys were.
If you want to know how big we are, Phoenix and the surrounding suburbs, I think we're the 4th or 5th largest metropolitan area in the country. Like
Okay.
the Phoenix is big. Like it's
Yeah.
a big city from end to end. It might take you 2 hours to go from the west side to the east
Oh,
side.
wow.
It's 40, 50 miles from one, anyway, it's like, so we're a very large city.
Okay.
We have, very, very big city. So guys do, like I said, if we're holding a meet on the east side, the guys on the west side are driving an hour to get there. And
Yeah.
if we, and vice versa on the west to east.
Yep. I get it. But I think you guys are doing yourself such a service in the way that you're structuring things to benefit everybody and allow for some of the small pockets. I hate when I hear, and I know we're just talking, I feel like I talk to you forever about this stuff.
This happened last year too.
I know. I said the same thing. It's funny because I hate when I hear, some chapters that are so big on we have to do everything together and so they tell their guys, and I've talked to a few other guys about this same thing, that they tell, you guys, you have a big group of guys, 5-6 guys down there that are an hour or two away, but no, you can't represent us because it's not the whole chapter. Why not? Why not? It's crazy. So, and I think you hit on a really interesting topic that I want to go more in depth on in another episode one day, because Bearded Villains and all the villain chapters that have come up over the last 10 years, at different points, in the last 10 years, they've grown and they've become a chapter, and some are 2 years old, some are 1, some are 10, and when you think about a brotherhood or a social club or anything like that where you might compare it to, that's really in its infancy, and even if you're one of the 10-year chapters, right? In the grand scheme of things, that's 10 years is pretty young for a club like this. And when you think about that, you look at the membership, who are in the different chapters, and you have some 20-somethings, you have some guys that are in their 50s and 60s. and with such a wide variety of things, guys, priorities change. The young guys get kids, the old guys retire, and what's that going to look like 10 years down the road? You know, I mean, I'm 50, and I found BV in my early 40s, and so now, you know, what's BV, or what am I going to be like 10 years from now? You know,
Yeah.
and it's a weird, just a strange transition that we're gonna end up with so many of our chapters with guys in their 70s and 80s,
Yeah.
maybe even in these brotherhoods. And what's that gonna look like? And are these guys gonna want to be a part of that still? You know, so
Well, you're
it's
gonna
such an
have to,
interesting topic. It's such an
yeah,
interesting
because
thing
we
to
keep
think about.
recruiting. We can't get into it now because,
No,
but it is an interesting topic because it's my 8th year anniversary. October is my anniversary month, so this is 8 years for me. My first meet was October, 2016 or whatever it was. And so it's interesting you say that because I'm 8 years older than I was when I joined. Oak is 10 or whatever years older than when he joined. And so it's interesting because the dynamic is interesting. You get younger and older guys, but I think that's the thing is when you have hopefuls, your hopefuls can range in age too, and so that kind of helps keep that gap. But we can get into that. We can get into that. Let's talk about the event.
One day down the road, I'll bring you on as a panel of like 5 or 6 people, and we can talk about this for a 2 or 3 hour episode. That'd be fun.
I think so.
But let's get into it, man. We're just a couple of days away. All Villains Eve. Just so everybody we got new listeners every year. So there's people that have never heard of this event. Let's just talk about where this thing started, what it is, and what you guys do with this thing. This is so cool.
This is, I think it's our 6th year. I'm trying to remember because I think our 5th year was last year. I think that was our 5th year. So this is our annual money raiser for the Phoenix Children's Hospital here in Phoenix. We've been supporting the Phoenix Children's Hospital, I think, since before I joined. Maybe the year after I joined. It was right around where I joined where we started supporting the Phoenix Children's Hospital, but we weren't doing the wrestling event all of the time. We were just trying to raise money and things like that. So the All Villains Eve is essentially an event where we partner with Slam U and Phoenix Championship Wrestling, along with Train in AZ, the Pro Training Wrestling Center. Those are the people that bring the wrestling. And what we do is we partner with them to throw a big professional wrestling event at Desert Wind Harley-Davidson in Mesa, Arizona. And they come and set up their ring. They bring the wrestlers, they bring the chairs, and they bring the entertainment. And they wrestle for a couple of hours. And we charge $10 at the door, and your money goes to Phoenix Children's Hospital. But it's our main money raiser. And so we've got some vendors. We got 5, 6, 7 vendors. It's not a big space, but we'll have a few vendors. We have a couple of food trucks that come. We've got a brother who's cooking tacos. But again, it's really just our main money maker so that we can then go to the toy store and we do just this big shopping spree where we then drop off all those toys that we buy to the Phoenix Children's Hospital so the kids who are at the hospital and their families can have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas because I just can't imagine, what they might be going through or how they might be feeling, dealing with something like, a child at the hospital during the holidays. And so it's our way of showing support. During COVID, we would just take the money and write a big check and give them the money. But now that we can go shopping and do the toys again, that's what we do with all the proceeds.
Makes it so much more fun too. I think for you guys, it's not just, hey, here's a check. It makes it a lot more fun for you.
Well, yeah, the shopping spree is way more fun because then we get to go to the hospital. We drive like 2-3 truckloads of toys up to the hospital. The people know who we are now that take the toys, and so they're always like, oh, the Phoenix Villains are back, and they get excited, and then all of our children get to come. So they get they get to see their mom and dads or just, their dads or whatever, doing the charity work and giving back to the hospital. And they get to take part in all of that. Even the kids, like if one of the villains who goes on the shopping spree has children, they'll bring their children on the shopping spree so the kids can get toys for the kids, which is a really meaningful experience for children who are buying toys for children who are sick. I think children really connect naturally with that, and so it's a really impactful experience, not just for us as villains, but also for our families.
Oh yeah, 100%. And the other cool thing is not only does it drive that principle home with them, and they get to have some sort of a interaction with what's going on, but from a parent side of thing, it also helps to have the kid there to, hey, do you think someone about your age would like this? Or would like,
Yeah.
So you're not just buying a piece of junk that they're not, no, I'm not into that. No, I don't think anybody would really like that. Or so that does help. I've done the Toys for Tots things, or the charity purchases at
Yeah.
Walmarts or Kmart's and things, and it's very helpful to have kids around sometimes, for sure. But yeah, I love. So wait a minute, in your description you didn't mention anything about a beard competition.
No, we have still not incorporated a beard competition into the event. It's just a lot to do in addition to, and everybody does beard competitions.
I love it. No, I didn't mean it bad. It was a
Yeah.
congratulative statement.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. We just, you know what? We're not trying to do that. We're trying to raise money for the focus on the wrestling. By the way, shout out to Slam U and the pro wrestlers that come. They do all that for free. They
wow.
just they bring the entertainment. They don't get paid, nothing like that. So that's a real blessing for us. As far as that donation of time and effort, and all of that. And it's legit professional. Like WWE style wrestling. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've seen some videos that you guys have shared the last couple of years with it, and I'm just like, I mean, it's all on full out. It looks like you see it on TV, man. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And then some of the costumes that people are wearing and the different. I mean, yeah, it's just a fun time, man. I love it. And what's really cool is it also affords you guys the opportunity to get involved in the community in a part of the community that you normally might not get into. Now, you've done it for several years now with this organization, so they're familiar with you, and the people that come to the event are familiar with probably the Phoenix Villains now, but you're not just doing something within the bearded community, which I wish more and more clubs would really try to focus on, because that's going to help out with so many other things down the road. But to actually not just sit in our little cave and say, no, we're a beard club, we got to do beard things.
Give it a beard comp. Got to have something, right? No, we have the Harley dealership, we have the wrestling, we get the wrestling crowd that comes in, and then they're introduced to us, right? We get the Harley crowd that comes in, they're introduced to us. The people that know us are then introduced to them, right? And so everybody's benefiting. It's like a shared success type of a thing. So it really works out. Do you mind if I give you some of the details as far as when it is?
Please do. Give us everything you got.
All right. So it is All Villains Eve. It is Saturday, October 19th from 4 to 9 p.m. From 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. You can just walk around, enjoy costume contests, face painting, vendors. You can put your raffle tickets in the little prizes. And then the wrestling starts at 6:30 and goes until 9. Again, all of the proceeds benefit the Phoenix Children's Hospital. We are an official 501c3 nonprofit, so everything that we take in must go out and into something like the charity or like an expense or something like that. And so the proceeds from this do go to a little bit of a reimbursement for like a food expense. For example, one of our brothers is buying tacos, and then we're going to sell those tacos. But all of the proceeds we make beyond expense reimbursement then go into the charity, because that's what we're required to do. We can only reimburse for expense and give to charity as a 501c3 nonprofit. So we're excited to do that. So just know that your donations, anything that you do, is a tax write-off if you want it to be a tax write-off. And so if you want more information on that, just let us know. But again, it's 4 to 9 p.m. It is at Desert Wind Harley Davidson, Saturday, October 19th. From 4 to 9 p.m. And it's All Villains Eve. We're really excited to have everybody come out this year.
I just love it. I love how it just incorporates something completely different, and when the first time I heard about this thing, man, I just was like, that's so cool. And not, unfortunately, I mean, for other chapters, not everybody can pull this off because you may not have the proximity to the organization like you guys do. And so it works out really well. And I love the fact that you're it's kind of a huge partnership between the wrestling organization and the Harley Davidson dealership and everybody else that comes out to help out with that, and then doing it all for the kids too. I love that. So typically then you'll take your money in, and then when do you typically do your shopping spree for that?
Usually the shopping spree happens like late. It's not before Thanksgiving, and we try to drop the toys off either in the first or second weekend of December. So usually the shopping spree happens the last weekend in November, or maybe first weekend of December, and then the drop off would happen at our December meet would be the drop off like the second Saturday of December. So that shopping spree would just be in between Thanksgiving and our meet, which is we meet on the second Saturdays. But our meet would be the drop off, and then after the drop off, after the drop off, we would find somewhere to go and have lunch or just hang out or something like that.
Well, I just made myself laugh because I just had this weird thought that how funny would it be if all the Phoenix villains went out and did shopping on Black Friday?
Right? Yeah. No, thank you.
No, thank
no,
you.
Thank you.
I don't
No,
even do
thank
that
you.
for. I don't even do that for. I don't even do
No.
that for my kids anymore.
No, my work gives us that day off. We just get the day off, so I'm not trying to go into a crowd or anything like that. But
no, if your work gives you a paid day off for that, then take off and go.
I try to get somewhere.
No, that's awesome. Well, man, I'm excited. Please do everything you can to get videos out there, share the pictures and everything like that. If for some reason, and I always tell this to guys, if there's a way that you guys are also accepting donations virtually, like if other people can, if somebody wants to donate to the cause, maybe they're a couple hours away or a few states away or anything like that, just make sure you can get that out on social media, post it on your IG or whatever else it is. Or if you know what it is right now, you can just tell me and we'll put it on the show tonight.
Go to phoenixvillains.com, which is our website. And then at the bottom left-hand side of the page, as you're staring at the screen, at the bottom left, there's a yellow donate button. You might have to scroll down just a little bit to see it, but there's a donate button. Click it. There you go. That's it. Perfect. Just go to the webpage, phoenixvillains.com, click donate, and then follow the steps to donate.
Perfect.
Super easy if you're not in the vicinity to be able to come to the event.
And I wish, and this is just I'm just saying this in your presence, but it's something I wish more chapters would do or more guys from around the clubs would do. Not every chapter is hosting events, and that's okay. You don't not every chapter has to host these events. But one of the things I would love to see is if more and more of our brotherhood would give out just $5 here, $5 there. It's a coffee anymore, and the more people if you think about that, you may not think your $5 that you're donating to Phoenix or to one of the other chapters goes very far. But imagine if 50 guys from our chapters around the world gave out $5. That does go somewhere. So we need to think about stuff like that when we're trying to, don't think so small. Think about the bigger picture of things, man. So
yeah, exactly. If you get 50 guys to donate $5, you're right. That's great stuff. So.
Perfect. Kurl, I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for taking some time with me. Have a great weekend. Have a super successful event. Look forward to maybe chatting with you after the fact and seeing how things went for the weekend. Stay safe and have a great weekend, man. Good luck to you.
Thank you. You too. We'll see you.
All right. Talk to you. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, there we go. Had a good time talking with Kurl. Man, he's so easy to talk to and just chill. Just chill. Yeah. We need to just sit and have a chat. But thanks so much, Kurl, taking some time out. As you could tell, he was at work while we were talking, and he was in between doing a bunch of different work projects or different things on his computer, and you could keep hearing that thing going off during the interview. It was pretty funny. He had to answer a few emails and different things while we're doing the interview. But I appreciate you, Kurl, taking some time to tell everybody about All Villains Eve this year. So yeah, great times. Good luck to the Phoenix Villains on a great weekend this weekend, and I hope you guys are able to make a ton of money for the Children's Hospital. Hey, you know what? Let's listen to this. Whether you're navigating the rugged terrain of the great outdoors or conquering the concrete jungle of the urban landscape, Bigfoot Beard Company has you covered. Bigfoot products are made with natural ingredients designed to help maintain a healthy, rich beard without leaving it feeling greasy and heavy. From classic cologne-inspired fragrances to fruity notes and earthy tones, there's sure to be a scent for every occasion. With worldwide shipping available, why not take an opportunity to walk on the wild side? Head over to Bigfoot Beard Company today. That's www.bigfootbeardco.com. Again, that's www.bigfootbeardco.com. All right, bigfootbeardco.com. Good stuff, good stuff. I love Bigfoot Beard products, man. They are awesome, and they smell amazing. And boy, do they make this nasty-looking beard all nice. Oh, guys. All right, hey, you know what? We've done enough tonight. We've done enough. I want everybody to look forward to having an awesome Friday. If you are going to the Phoenix event this weekend, if you're going to Northern Indiana's event here in Northern Indiana, in Portage, coming to the return of Ezra Crow, I look forward to seeing everybody. Safe travels to everybody else. If you're not going to an event this weekend, just go out and have a great time. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. And you know what, guys? I think that's where we need to leave it, right? That's going to wrap up episode 231 of this here show. I want to challenge you guys, as I do every week, to be the villain that the world needs you to be, because the heart of a villain never stops beating. Most important words I say every week, guys. Please remember them well. It's okay not to be okay. If you are hurting, please find a brother to talk to. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. That's it. Have a great night. Have a great Friday, a great weekend ahead. I'll see you back here again next week for episode 232. Until then, take care. Stay safe.
Underestimate the power of brotherhood. Every bro, every chapter, every caption. Heart of a villain, bro. Lights